Hello, and welcome to another Dokkan battle video. In this video, we're going to be taking on the final few stages of the blue KAIOKEN EZA. I'm not like... okay, so the thing about blue KAIOKEN, right, is he's always been very glass cannon-y, and they did not change that. He is basically the same kind of unit that he was way back then when he came out, which is equally, like, interesting, but also not something that I was really expecting, because I thought they were gonna make this guy and he was gonna fall into like the category of like it LR Gohan, it Bojack, like that kind of like EZA character, right? Where all we've been saying is, oh, just give him defense and it'll be fine, and then that's all they give him, and then they just end up very lackluster. But what they ended up doing was going all in on him being a glass cannon, where his Spirit Bomb is now probably the hardest hitting thing in the entire game by far, and it's like not even close. Like, I guess the only other thing that could hit harder is if you... Oh, we're lagging a bit. Oh, okay. Is if you probably like build up like 5 full turns of orbs, like I'm talking a lot of orbs, and then have the GT Vegeta out on the Z Spirit Bomb turn, then maybe I'll hit harder and hit like max 9999. But like this guy consistently just drops gigaton bombs on every single character in the game, and it's kind of ridiculous. The only problem I have right now with blue KAIOKEN is that he doesn't really have units to activate that Spirit Bomb. Now, granted, he doesn't really need it. What he only really needs is that like guard for the first 5 turns. So you really only need 1 Reps of Universe 7 ally, but you'd really want to get the Spirit Bomb, right? Because that is such a powerful damaging attack. So it's not something that like I'm all that thrilled about how they designed him, but at the same time, it's kind of funny watching him just drop a nuke and then you win the game, and then you it's turn 5, you know? Like it's kind of crazy at times, because he does literally insane amounts of damage. Like it's not even like remotely close. I don't think any other character has as much damage output as this guy does, with as much consistency as he does it with. Like, he starts the turn off, like, with no stacks, no build up at all from his passive, and he's dropping 8 million attack stats. The second you get hit twice, he's already over 10 million, and he's just going up and up and up and up and up, and it's just kind of gross. But at the same time, his defense is, like, 2021 level. So it's just like, he's either going to get obliterated, or you're just gonna one-shot the boss and move on with your life. What I'm really interested to see is how much damage he does on a crit to Broly. Like, I'm talking Red Zone Broly, because I want to see that level of damage just kind of smack Broly in the face and then and then move on. Because like the problem is, right, you're gonna be able to build up a lot getting up to Broly. You just have to survive with enough Universe Survival Saga allies or Reps Universe 7 allies to make it to Broly. And there's not a whole lot of them in the game, like, that are runnable in that event. Like, you could technically run the Blue Evolution Vegetas, and that would make 2, and then I guess you can do Roshi just for the revive, but like that's gonna be a really risky run. And then if you end up getting all the way to the end, you win, right? Like, that's like the whole thing, right? Where it's like, you're really playing with like what ifs. If you're running all the UI Gokus, you're really hoping that they all dodge. If they don't dodge, you lose. If you're really just playing around with the game's mechanics in order to skate around death long enough to one-shot a boss off of the face of the earth, which is hilarious, but at the same time, it's a different like kind of play style, which I do support, right? I like when they want to like make us run different things and try different things out and beat events in different ways, like either being overly defensive or overly offensive, which is what this blue KAIOKEN is. It's very interesting to see like just exactly what you can do and what you can't do. And with how a lot of the hard events are designed right now, being like relatively short, most of the time with blue KAIOKEN, you should be finishing these stages off by around turn 5, which is when his guard runs out. So the likelihood that you like just drop the spirit bomb, win the game, and get out before he even dies is kind of high. The only thing is you're really just hoping that the units around him aren't the ones selling you, because if they are, then unfortunately you're probably not going to end up having a really good time. But that's just really it. Like, these guys are really, really strong. It's just everything around him is very mediocre. Like, they're still runnable characters here, but like they're not up to stuff with what we've been seeing as of late. So it does make things a little bit more difficult, but it's also very possible, which is a very funny thing. Like, because you could now that like they don't have the red zone limit of stages per day, you can literally sit there and go over and 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 over until you get that perfect run where this blue KAIOKEN just drops the spirit bomb, you win, you get out, right? It's very easy to do that, and like it's a very realistic strategy. It might take a few tries, but like it's definitely possible and definitely plausible to happen, and I do find that kind of funny. Do I wish they would have given him a little bit more stuff defensively? Yes. But at the same time, I think what they did is perfectly fine. I think he's going to age probably kind of fast, but with that being said, like when he does age, he's still gonna have that bomb in his back pocket, and as long as the units around him are equally as good, like as whatever new content is out at the moment, he's going to be perfectly fine. Like, yeah, you're gonna need to play around him, be like, oh, hopefully he doesn't die here, but like at the same time, if you are about to die, you just kill the event and you move on, right? And you move on with your life. Papa Ghost Usher, Papa Whis. That kind of argument that has always surrounded this guy will be more prevalent than, or more prevalent now as it has ever been, because now he's just that much stronger offensively, which is definitely very quirky of Dokkan, right? But I do think that what they did was a good decision. Again, I do have my qualms. He isn't perfect. If you don't have a universe or like a rep of Universe 7 ally immediately, and you're facing like any difficult boss, he's probably just a sitting duck waiting to die. But at the same time, if you do, he'll be able to stack up quite a bit and get really, really, really strong in the meantime. So, you know, it's definitely interesting. By the way, his EZA is weak to accelerated battle. It's definitely a very quirky category, as you can see. I'm using a bunch of characters that I like are really old and nobody really uses anymore, just because I feel like it'd be fun. But like this category, like he exclusively takes damage from extreme class accelerated battle, and that's just not a very good side of things. And then you'd be like, oh, but you have like Cell and Metal Cooler and stuff like that. But yeah, but he also has damage reduction against int and physical, so you can't bring those either. So there's not really a whole lot of options. Like I should still have it up. Like this is what you have to work with, and it's just not a lot. I could probably brought like hearts or something, but like I didn't feel like doing all that. I just brought this like quirky little team to maximize like Great Vegeta, Cell, Metal Cooler, the AGL one, and then moving on with my day. This EZA event has not been very difficult, I would say. Like it's very simple. It's definitely not one of those like really annoying EZA events where they make you use a terrible category and like the leader is weak to the EZA stage. Like it's not one of those. Like it's just a very interesting little thing. Though extreme class accelerated battle is not something that like really has been buffed very much, nor does it have like a real leader skill besides Hitting God Goku. So if you don't have them, it could be a little bit more challenging to build a team for this, but I'm sure there's still probably like ways around this. I initially wanted to use like Gamma 2 as my leader, but then I saw that he had damage reduction against every single super class, and I was like, well, I probably shouldn't do that anymore. So it could be a little bit difficult to like kind of build a real team around this, but you could probably still use like LR Kid Buu and build like a Battle of Fate team, and that would probably work just fine. Like I don't see why it wouldn't. So there's that as an option. Otherwise, like it's just kind of play around with what you got and see what you can build in order to actually like beat this. We are also able to use like Grade 8 Vegeta as like a real like contender in this event, because you know this is against a Goku, so he's gonna get his intro buff as well as like not having damage reduction against him. So you can just sit him in slot 1 and you know he should be fine and do decent damage. I would like for that guy to get more help. I think the Sand Saga is something in Dokkan that they definitely need to buff more, because we only have 2 Sand Saga Dokkan Fests, being Raditz and Yamcha, which is just weird to me. Like I feel like we needed other Saiyans as well as like different characters for the Saiyan Saga. Like I think we could get a Dokkan Fest Nappa, Dokkan Fest Vegeta, obviously from this saga. We could get definitely a Dokkan Fest Kaioken Goku, maybe like a transforming Kaioken Goku where it's like it's just base Goku and then goes Kaioken, maybe for like a limited time or something like that. I think that the LR that we're going to be getting in part 2, the one from Chala Hichala, that is probably going to be a Gohan and Piccolo from the Saiyan Saga. So I do think that'll be pretty good, but like again, like they're still just making LRs and not characters that are Dokkan Fest level that can like lead the team and work well with the team. So it is a bit weird. I think we definitely do need a lot more Dokkan Fest from this. Anyway, that was this EZA. Let me know how you guys feel about him in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.